And hello, everybody. Again, welcome back to week three emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, interpersonal skills, however you want to call them. These are those soft skills that you need to manage information. I did mention in the previous lecture, and this one will be short, 5 minutes or less, but I did mention in the previous lecture for this week that you just watched that a good tool is the DISC method, and this is popular in agile project management. So I borrow it from there, but it's popular in managing emotional quotient, which is so important to an agile team's success. That's why it's emphasized there. Because agile teams are about self organizing, collaborating, innovating, etc. And so all of that requires a high level of interpersonal skills, which means so that you can get to high performing quickly. So that's why Agile uses it. But we're going to pull it into our conversation because, as you recall in that DISC slide, I mentioned to you that work asks us, as you recall, work asks us to navigate all kinds of complexities in our world, right? There's no one size fits all, I mentioned. And so sometimes we need to stand firm in our view, and another time we need to um, be open to other colleagues' ideas, right? So one situation may benefit a more objective approach. One situation may benefit a more subjective approach. A third may look for some mixture of the two. And so we always want to make sure we care for that individual's emotions that we're talking to so that we don't shut them down, right? So by developing the emotional quotient we talked about, we reach for new responses that when we do that are able to take us places that maybe our instincts won't go. And this is where DISC is valuable. DISC stands for driver, promoter, uh, intuitive, or sometimes called analyzer, and supporter, right? And so we that's what DISC is referencing. Um, and so we're going to apply this by using this video. This video is really, really great, and I think you're going to enjoy the video, and you'll get a lot out of it. And so I mentioned DISC. It can go by the acronym Driver, Promoter, Analyzer, Supporter. In this video, and it's the same sections, it's also known as dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. And that's where Agile comes up with this. But just realize if you're doing your own research, that you may hear it called driver, promoter, analyzer, supporter. In this conversation, it's called dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. They are the same. It is the same. So don't worry about that. But sometimes people do other names, right? So if I'm dominant, I may be outgoing and fast paced and outspoken. If I'm in influence, I may be people oriented or accepting and warm. If you're steady, you may be reserved or cautious or reflective. And then analyzer is more about driving compliance. But remember, through the whole thing, it's a point in time view. And personalities will not change. That would be another point. But styles and approaches will, hence emotional quotient. Okay, with that, I'm going to stop talking and let the video, which is funny, I think you'll enjoy it. And you'll notice the person wrote, I may, or they note on the YouTube, I made this fun little disc video and to play on personalities. If you recall, okay, this is actually the last thing I'm going to say. I briefed touchly in previous weeks on MBTI. I provided links in Moodle, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, and I said Myers-Briggs is a personality preference test. Take the free test. Get to know who you are. Because they're your personality preferences does not mean you will always act that way. But by knowing your personality preferences, it gives you a broader spectrum to act on. You just don't go to what's comfortable. And I mentioned that in the previous lecture for this week, that we want to navigate outside of our comfort zone so we can pick the right response, so that we can have some flexibility in our responses for the information we are getting, right? That the problem is that we get used to responding, and that response isn't always appropriate. Okay, with that, here's the video. I hope you enjoy it. I think it's funny, but it makes good points about the personality preferences as reflected in DISC, right? Which is either driver, promoter, analyzer, and supporter, or sometimes you'll hear it referred to as dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. Here we go.
So we've established that everyone is different, right? But here's the cool thing. They are predictably different. We all are. And because of that, we can actually predict how people will act or react in a given situation. Our world is made up of 4 types of people. There's dominant, or the D style, influencing, which is the I style, steady, or the S style, and compliant, the C style. Generally speaking, those are the personality types of the people you interact with every day. And I'll let you in on a little secret. You're one of them. Let's take a look. We've all been waiting on an elevator and seen the girl who presses the button, steps back and looks at the button again, then presses it again, and again and again. Yeah, that's a D style. She has places to go and people to see. She's probably always in a hurry, so then she'll tap and hold the button, frustrated, thinking she can actually make it move faster. D styles are dominant, direct, and results-driven people who want to control their environment and then do something to make a difference in their world. Now, let's take a look at the I style. She is Talky Talkerton. Once the doors open to the elevator, she's the one who turns around and starts talking to nobody in particular about pretty much anything. She's an influencer. When the elevator stops, she's the jokester who quips, "Third floor lingerie, enjoy your day." Now, not all I styles are cheesy people who tell mom jokes all the time, but you see what I mean. I's draw energy from people and love to engage. Now, here comes Little Miss C style. She's the quiet one. She's kind of off to the side, standing in the front of the elevator, looking at the plaque that reads, "Maximum weight, 2,500 pounds. She's calculating body weight. Uh-oh. If one more person gets on, we're gonna go down. She's on a schedule, but she's allowed herself plenty of time. She's compliant, she knows the rules, obeys the rules, and wants everyone else to do the same. Look at her. How cute. Enter the S personality. She's stable, steady, and keenly aware of her surroundings. She wants everyone to be happy, and she thinks it's her job to make it so. She's the one holding the elevator door open to make sure everyone who wants to get on can do so at their leisure. Meanwhile, Miss D's in the back huffing and puffing about needing to get to her meeting. The S will even take the stairs if there's not enough room for Miss I, who keeps everyone waiting while she finishes her mocha latte frappuccino thing. Harmony and steadiness are a big deal to the S. As a leader, it's important to know these DISC styles so you can begin to better understand the people around you. It's also important to understand that we are all a blend of these styles. Sure, we can adapt those blends based on our environment or when a specific situation calls for one style over the other. But more often than not, we've all got to accept our DISC and learn to live, work, and play and accept these basic truths. So there you have it. We're all different, but we are predictably different.